Good evening. Oh gosh, are we late?
Yeah.
15 minutes late tonight.
It's my fault. It's my fault we're late. I apologize. It's my fault.
Do you want to tell them?
Well, sure. Why don't I tell them? I mean, it's entertainment for you guys to see an argument or a discussion in progress, right?
Maybe we should wait a minute till everybody jumps on.
Well, okay. We can do that. So would you like to entertain them on our topic tonight before we talk about our argument? Or do you want to wait and just look at you? She is so aggravated right now that she's laughing because it's funny. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Keaton.
So I have to be very careful here in my wording and my figures.
Oh, we're gonna take votes here
What's
on
up,
who's
Taylor?
right and hey Taylor, on who's right
It
and who's
doesn't matter
wrong.
who's right or who's wrong. We already
Miss
decided.
Lynn.
What's up, Lynn? What? Hey, Jessica. It's not. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. It's what they think. So here's,
This has nothing to do with
our topic is about media, but we just had a. What was it? A discussion.
something like that.
It wasn't really an argument. It really.
No.
Maybe a disagreement.
Yeah, disagreement.
So. I have a used car for sale.
We're gonna ask you guys to take sides, so listen closely.
I have a used car for sale, and evidently,
And I'm gonna be made out to be the villain. I just know it.
it's okay. You're not a villain. So we evidently have discussed a bottom dollar on the car. Mm-hmm. And as you all know, anybody who knows Brooke, she's a car freak, and she knows about cars, and she does homework about cars, and she knows the value of a dollar, and I don't.
Yes,
so anyway,
you do.
we had a bottom dollar on the car, but I tend to forget that when I'm dealing with the person I'm dealing with. So,
Can I give more background than that?
sure.
Usually, I'm the one who does the negotiating when it comes to cars, car sales, whether we're buying or we're selling. Do you remember what happened with the Dakota? When we sold that Dakota?
No.
This guy came in real low, and I was like, get out of here, dude. I got 4 people in line behind you. You don't want it, they'll pay for it. And we got him where he needed to be on that price. You don't remember that? Okay. Well, anyway, continue.
We had a bottom dollar that I didn't remember the discussion we had. I do remember a part of the discussion that she says, it's your car, sell it, and get what you can out of it. Okay. That's a part I remember. It is what she said. So,
Hey,
Jen,
Jennifer.
So I talked to this person, and we haggled back and forth, and offers were made and offers were counter offered, and we come to a conclusion with a handshake and plans to exchange the title, and it was significantly lower than what her and I had discussed as the bottom dollar. Significantly lower.
Significantly.
Anyway, what point did you want to make?
Aren't we gonna... Listen, my husband tends to make decisions with his heart, which is good and dangerous.
What's up, Pickle?
So I had the stance of, wow, we came in way too low on that car. Wish I could have been part of that negotiation. And his stance is,
I helped somebody out.
they were in a spot.
A bad spot.
I'm so skeptical. Listen, I'll be the first to admit I am not like the best giver. And I really, really, really love to give, but I don't like he...
What's up, Casey?
If he could give 24/7 every single day, that's what he would be doing. So it's not like I said, I'm worried I'm gonna come out as like a villain here, like shisty villain. Give me my money. You don't touch my money.
It's not
and
like
it's not
that.
like
It's
that.
not like that, right?
You have to balance it with logic.
We're different.
But you have to balance it with logic.
I did.
If somebody comes to look at a vehicle that's listed as a certain price and then you come in way lower than that and they're still like, okay, well then you probably shouldn't be looking at this car. Like, go look at something in your price range. There's plenty of them. So this was the conversation and why we were a couple minutes late. So I just wonder, what do you guys say? Do the sacrifice, even if it's like crazy low on it, sacrifice the car, you feel like these people are in a spot, or are you kind of like me, like meet in the middle with them and take some off, but not a huge chunk?
So here's the
Give
question.
us a vote. A B vote or a T vote?
Pickle. Always negotiate. Like she said, someone will pay what it's worth. Okay, Mike. I value your opinion and thank you for responding. I appreciate that.
Yes, I appreciate that as well.
I say do the good. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that.
So we got one B and we got one T.
So be it. So logical answer, negotiate, get what the car's worth, see if somebody's in a spot, see that they may be having trouble, and be kind and give them a deal significantly lower than we had planned. Oh, let me finish this. She wasn't in on the deal. I did all the dealing myself and didn't include her. So me not including her in the decision wasn't the smartest idea for me. Understood.
Thank
I
you.
apologize.
I appreciate that.
You're right. But it's just like this.
Why are you sweating? Are you nervous?
Yes, I'm nervous. Sleeping on the couch. Anyway, it's like this.
Thanks for that B.
Shut up, Mike. It's like this. The decision was made. It's done. I'm suffering the consequences. But I have no idea what you're talking about, but I agree with Brooke.
Thank you, Heidi.
222. Anyway.
Oh, that's funny.
You're both good, but sometimes you need to cave if your heart says so. Thank you, Lynn. And
I can appreciate
Lynn, that's where I was at. I mean, I'm not going to disclose the person's name or even the story, but I'm a pretty good judge of character and reader of people, and she's laughing at me.
This is why it makes me laugh. Wayne Jane is with you.
Thanks, Jane. I appreciate it. I was once told by a friend that you can't outgive God. I believe that as long as T calls you before making the final deal, B should be made aware of go with your heart. That right there is an educated answer.
Good call, Taylor.
He's siding with both of us. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Good job, Taylor. I appreciate it. Thank you for your
And
input.
I did say that if we had talked about it before a decision was made, I don't know, but I might have a different point of view on it. I did say that to you before we went live.
And yeah, she did. And I think that, and here's another factor too. I understand where she's at in her side and the basis of her decision, but I still think that if she was out there with me doing the dealing, she would have caved too.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's possible, but it's also possible I'd be like,
I think I just saw your old vehicle on eBay for $1,000 more than what you sold it to them for. What? I think I just saw your old vehicle on eBay for $1,000 more than you sold.
Oh, he's saying they resold it.
Oh,
this is what I'm saying, Keaton. Like,
Thanks,
it's. I'm so skeptical.
Thanks, Roger. I appreciate it. How do you do, Mike? Cool.
Yeah, he's a classmate.
Oh, cool.
I'm sorry. 142.
All right.
That's why I call him Keaton.
Keaton.
Yeah, so guys, that has nothing to do with our topic tonight, but we figured we would have you guys weigh in on it. So
this is what I get for having a heart as big as a truck.
He does. He does, and I appreciate that about him. But that's why
it cost us money.
This is why God brought us together, because it creates a balance. So, like, you have me, who oftentimes is made out to be this harsh, cold villain. That's what I feel like sometimes. But I just want logic to weigh into this a little bit. Like, if she didn't have anywhere near that money, she would not have been test driving this vehicle, right? Who's with me, right?
All right. So we've pretty much got some votes, and we understand. I don't know where your notes are. I couldn't find them.
I'll go find them.
Anywho.
Right. We know about eBay.
Our topic today, and she'll be right back, is about the media. Ooh, touchy, the media. We have some things to share, but the basis of this video is not to bash the media, not to talk them way up here, but to educate you on to use caution, what you hear and what you see and what to believe and what not to believe.
What the heck?
What are you doing?
I can't find them.
Hurry up! Anyway, so being in the field that we're in, what's up, Haley? Being in the field that we're in, obviously we have a lot of dealing with the media. And even as civilians or as people in general, we see media every day on billboards and on commercials and in the radio and in magazines and public service announcements and advertisements for sales and all this good stuff. Media is everywhere. But what we want to caution you on is what you hear in the story that you're being given, and maybe the people that are giving the story may not have the whole story and just be giving you the facts that they know or have understood, and then kind of changing it around or to get ratings or to get money or to get ahead or to have the story, if you will. I have journalist friends. I have people that are friends on TV and the radio stations and newspapers, and
Hey, Haley.
I'm not gonna bash anybody, but I'm just trying to tell you, as our friend group here, use caution on what you hear and use caution about how you view whoever the story's about until you get all the facts. And you may never get all the facts. It's just what the media reports to you. But if you know the person, go to them, get their side of the story. Yes, there's always two sides of the story, but there's maybe another end of it that maybe not being told correctly or accurately. So what do you have notes for?
Well, we have had...
My leg's sweating. Go ahead. Anyway, go ahead.
This is getting weird
What's up, Kyle?
tonight. We're awake tonight. So that means you get weirdness. See, when we're sleepy, we're more chill.
I thought when you were on video, it was always weird.
Well, that's probably pretty accurate.
I'm already sleeping on the couch. I'm good.
Listen, no, you're not. Gosh, this guy. Ugh. So yeah, recently there have been multiple stories like you and I talked about that like these stories imply things, right? Like they're so, like the preliminary stories that go out by the media. And again, like Troy said, it's not a blanket statement on all media, but I would say it's like majority. You guys can probably agree with that, where you'll have a story and they want to be the first ones to release a story, whoever they is, like whichever media outlet wants to have, they want to be the first people with that story. So they will take just enough that they got from Joe Schmo and pump it out. And it does not matter to them if they crucify someone in the meantime. And then it comes out months later like, oh, this person actually didn't do anything wrong. They don't care. Like now this person is going through hell because they were, dragged through the mud by the media, right? And so media is so tainted toward pushing their own agenda. Yes, that's true too, Jeff. I totally agree with that. And we'll avoid going...
Our purpose, Jeff, and I appreciate what you say because it's definitely on point, but we're trying not to be a media basher nor a media promoter, only to promote awareness for those who are listening to the media and being influenced by the media, not to take right straight to heart or right to the back of your head what's being said. Wait a minute, just stand by a minute, get all the facts. Fire at 11, okay, there's a fire, but wait, what kind of fire? Was it on the stove? Was it a campfire? Was there flame shooting out of the back of a Lamborghini's exhaust? There's all kinds of different ways you can...
This just got interesting.
Oh my gosh, here I mentioned the car. I was late to the party. No, you're
Oh
good,
yeah,
bro.
no,
You're
Jeff,
good.
you have actually a really good point, because
No,
that
you're
is
good,
one of the things that fuels these stories, right? And a lot of media outlets, they love controversy. A lot of them do have, political agendas and those kinds of things that they're just like one-sided. Did you see what Mike said?
I did.
Headline, TB attacking First Amendment.
Right. That's very good. No, not attacking the First Amendment by any means, because absolutely you have the right to free speech and all that stuff, right?
That's funny.
They just want a story and they don't care who they hurt or lie about. Now, Wayne, let me help you out there. I don't want to use that word lie in this video because I'm not trying to bash the media. I understand where you're coming from because I know where you work and I know your history and I know what you're about. But they may just not all have all the facts.
It's more reckless than it is.
Yes.
like intentional lying. I don't know. I'm not making blanket statements here, but I'm just saying like a lot of times it's more reckless.
Barbara, you're absolutely correct, and thank you, Michelle. We will. Thanks, Doug. I will. I'm sorry, Lieutenant. I'll do that.
LT.
It's just good because I mean you have to know that in our field of work, you know, Brooke used to work.
Yeah, Miss Barb is on point.
We have had all kinds of good happen with the media, but maybe equal bad happen to the media. Things get turned and switched around or not delivered.
That's very giving of you to make it even.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, how many times have I got on the radio and preached about traffic safety and belt usage and, you know, trying to deter drunk driving? That's good. That's public service announcement. I'm using the media to get to people to deliver a message.
Right.
That's good media. But when, you know, the media, whoever it may be, newspaper, TV, radio, whoever, if you go to a scene of something, of a fire or something that somebody may have died, and you're giving information of the dead person, and they're not even home. That person's in Arkansas on vacation. This other person was a squatter and have no idea who it is. Wait till you get the facts. Just be aware when you're listening to media and you're talking and listening to the stories to get all the facts before you believe everything you hear. Let's get back and read some of these comments.
Okay, so Barb said, Didn't news used to
be unbiased and just report the facts? I can't remember.
Not that I've ever seen, so maybe not in my lifetime.
I'm not a fan of the media. Remind you to tell a story, and they have totally lost my respect.
Oh, okay, so that's from Tiffany.
And Tiff, not that that's I can't. We have to respect your point of view because that's yours. That's your point of view.
Well, we've all been on the receiving end of that. Mm-hmm. Well, I shouldn't say we all have. Maybe we all have.
Go ahead.
I think what he's wanting to say is that we believe there is an uprising, and we're praying for an uprising in authentic journalists that really want to get facts out. And those people are out there, and we sure as heck don't want them to be bunched into this topic that we're talking about. They're out there, and they're doing a lot of good. But I think we can all agree that the media is a huge problem in this country right now. Huge problem. Because it's more about the story. Mm-hmm. The more controversial, the better. The quicker you get it out, the better, which means it's all preliminary information, and it very rarely actually contains facts.
First one to get the story gets the ratings.
Yeah, we're talking about front page news. Like PSAs and stuff. Mm-hmm. Those are wonderful. How often are they on the front page? They're usually mixed in somewhere, like on the last half of the 5 o'clock news or something, right?
So
I don't actually watch the news. I don't.
Let me say this, and this is kind of to continue on the topic. Let's say this. Let's say I challenge a channel on TV that before you go to the scene and report something and have facts that you're reporting, to make sure that they have facts. For example, and Meeks, you can kill me if you want to, but it's like this. I have a friend, is a public information officer, and when she has a story or she has something that she needs to release to our work, she doesn't just fly off the handle and call somebody and type it up real quick. She calls A, B, C through Z, gets all the facts, writes it down, puts it in order, makes sure there's no spelling mistakes, and delivers it to who it needs to be delivered to be disseminated.
So if she's capable of that, obviously other human beings are capable of that.
And that's the right way to do it.
It's the right way to do it, yeah. Because she's not worried about being the first one with the story.
Right.
You know, so that's the difference. And so, you know, again, like Troy said, our intention is not to bash media. Information needs to get out there. So yes. We're not bashing media, but we, as the people on the receiving end of that information, have to look into things. How many times have you guys seen something posted? We talked about social media on our last video. So this isn't necessarily social media we're talking about. But how many times have you seen something posted on Facebook that seems crazy? And like people share it like crazy. But then you actually go in and you look at comments and somebody fact checked it and they've got the links to all the information that it's all like Snopes baloney that was made up by people. And I'm just like, stop hitting the share button. Stop spreading the lies, you know? And so there's crazy stuff, and I'm sure you guys have seen that. So we talked about this on our last video, but be careful with the share button. Just be careful with that. This is the reason I don't watch the news. Yeah, Haley, it's depressing anyway, isn't it? Like, it's kind of depressing. Bash him, Doug said.
Mike.
Sorry, I can't listen more.
A Russian influence commentary. Listen, I used to know a chief of Whitehall. I'm not sure if I know him anymore. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate
Russian influence
Mr.
commentary.
Crispin, I
That's
appreciate your
hilarious.
input.
Gosh, I hope we don't sound like that.
No, I don't think we do. I mean, we're trying to make people aware. The media is always going
I
to be
think
there.
everybody knows.
It really is. It's still going to come out with the first one with a story. It's still going to come out with facts that are there, but may not be accurate.
But it's sad.
And what happens is they come out with the media, or whoever the media represents, come out with these facts in one report. And then whenever they come back and get the ratings, and it's all a big story because the helicopters are around, squads and police and everything else, but they don't tell about the disposition. You don't very much see what really happened.
Especially if it's not as juicy as they want it to be.
Exactly.
So somebody's made out to be a villain, and there have been some horrible things released. I think this is super rare. But like personal information released, and people are found, well, names can be released and stuff, and they're made out to be a villain when that isn't actually what happens at all. And they actually will get threatened, their families get threatened. It just turns their life totally upside down. And after it's all said and done, and the facts are actually released, because like, I mean, if we're talking about like pending like criminal stuff, it's all sealed. And it's like certain people are innocent till proven guilty, and certain people are just guilty.
Hey,
right?
I got a good example. Mike, stay tuned on this
not
one.
cool, man.
Mike and Doug, stay tuned on this one. See if I do okay on this. Cop blockers. You guys have all heard of them. They're a group of people that are coming to our traffic stops and to our stations, and they're videotaping everything that they want to videotape on their phones, and they're claiming, which is fine, they're First Amendment, I'm with you, they're claiming that they're trying to educate
That one was for you, Mike.
law enforcement on their rights and what they can and can't do. I'm not in total disagreement of what they're doing. Not that I support them, not that I condone it, but I understand why they're doing it if they're legit. So if we have to be educated in our field in order to educate other people and in order to do right and not violate people's civil rights.
But what's funny is they're recording you, but you're already recorded.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. And there are departments that don't have cameras, but everything he does is recorded anyway. So it's like, you're not recording anything that's not already recorded in public record, I might add.
Yeah,
God.
read Mike's.
It's unfortunate most university instructors push their personal political agenda. Oops. So future journalist students may be skewed prior to their first job. That's very true. And yeah, that's kind of an ongoing issue as well. But that's where parents come in, you know? Make sure your kids know before they're going to college that they're going to come up against that kind of stuff. Social media is public info. Watch what you post. Yes. Yep. Haley. Yes, absolutely.
And
and Doug said they suck. That's good enough.
Brooke and I are being very careful what we say, and we're not, we're delivering.
I don't want to make blanket statements.
No.
Because how discouraging would that be for like a journalist that wants to fight all of that, right? And just wants to do the best job, report the facts, whether they're ugly or not, whether there's a villain or not. Like that happens, right? But there's journalists out there, I believe, that are really wanting to straighten that out, that stigma that's being built. So I do not want to crucify those people by any means.
And you know what? We do need to know. That's what the media's motto is.
Yeah, absolutely.
People need to know. Absolutely. If there's
people want to know.
Right, exactly. If there's some kind of natural disaster,
or
if there's some kind of big accident or some kind of accident that happened local and maybe a family involved or friends.
What happened to the Weather Channel? I used to really like the Weather Channel. Who's with me on this one?
Now you're talking about somebody specific now.
Okay. See, this is where I'm just me. Okay, so the Weather Channel, I'm not going to say anything horrible. Relax. Chill. I'm a bit of a weather nerd, so I really get into, this sounds bad, but if we have hurricanes, like tracking hurricanes and stuff, it's super interesting to me. Ooh, boy, we got behind. My bad. So the Weather Channel, though, like, doesn't even really talk a whole lot about weather anymore. You know, so it's not the weather. I'm not saying the Weather Channel's putting out bad information. I just wish they'd stick to weather because it's really interesting to me and I enjoy it. And now when I turn on the Weather Channel, it's like, what are we talking about here? This isn't cool. Haley said most of the news is about public figures and what they posted on Twitter. Please. That's hilarious. There's never weather on the Weather Channel. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you. See, she agrees with me. I just miss watching the Weather Channel. Yeah. So, but again, it's not to, we're not here to complain about the media, but we just wanted to remind everyone, like we have to remind ourselves to take everything with a grain of salt, especially those first preliminary things that media is pushing out, like, hang on, let's get more information. We have to keep it in mind because they won't tell us that. Media is not going to be like, look what happened, but take it with a grain of salt because we're unreliable. You know, so we just have to decide for ourselves to like stop, hang on, get more information. Don't hit the share button until it's like a full-blown story that's been confirmed, right? Sonia agrees.
So basically the title of this video, or the purpose of this video, is to make you aware and to make sure that you get all the facts before you believe anything that you hear. Not that the media is not doing it on purpose. Maybe they just don't have all the facts. Maybe, and if they're vague, hats off to them. They're trying to wait until they have all the facts. That's great. I appreciate that. But
as long as it doesn't imply something.
Right.
Be kind, don't share.
Right?
Good, Jeff.
I remember when MTV was in music videos. Not a one now.
Whew, it's
social
been
media and reality TV. Yeah.
It's been a long time, Haley, since I turned on MTV, but I remember that transition. That was a long time ago when they transitioned from music to, yeah. What's some of those shows that used to be on, like
TV
Real World? Wasn't that one? Like back in the day. Oh my gosh, that's like high school days for me. Fake news. Yeah, Sonia. So we have to keep in mind that media, not all of it, but a lot of media is a business. Mm-hmm. They want your business. Think about that. The same way, if you are going to buy new clothes, the same way, sorry, we had a bad connection for a second. The same way that a company will use advertisement to grab you, media is going to do the same thing. They're a business. Go ahead.
Jen Spaulding, perfect example. I just got breaking news. Murder suspect in Los Angeles. Chase. The guy is going 5 miles per hour and surrenders in less than 5 minutes. He is now burning in the media outlet. In Ohio? Why? I don't know. But it's just a perfect example, Jen. Murder suspect. What's that? He immediately kept, really? Where's the murder at? But
the guy's going 5 miles an hour and surrenders.
I've been in Pursuits That Fast with Mike Crispin. Anyway, you guys are great. Good stuff. Stay safe. See you, brother. I need to have coffee soon.
Yeah, you guys should.
But yeah, just
thanks for tuning in, Mike.
Yes, just guys, just be careful. That's all. I mean, don't get too bent out of shape on things that you hear initially. You know, when it comes back on at 11 or it's continued the next day at 6, then yes, start believing what you hear because there's facts connected to that, and they have.
I'm sorry.
I have a lieutenant that I used to work for that said. Well, it was when I was transitioning from one position to a higher position. And he said, whenever you're reporting facts, make sure and get A, B, C, and D. And don't just jump from A to E and throw it at people.
Yeah.
And have I done it since then? Yes, because you get quick sometimes. But you need to get all the facts before you release it to somebody. I don't know where to go from here as far as that goes. Just be careful what you believe until you get some more detailed facts and information. That's all.
Yeah, and if it sounds like, I mean, these guys are good. I mean, they write for a living, so they know how to say things. How many times have you seen a headline that implies something just horrific, and then you read it and you're like, oh, well, that's not. They're trying to grab you. Like, they're good at it. They know what to do. You know, so if it's like, well, this doesn't sound right. It sounds like something's dirty here. It might just be that that's exactly what they're trying to get you to think, because that you're going to click the share button. You're going to tell your friends, right? So we just have to be aware that it's not all going to be good for us.
Thanks, Doug. We appreciate that, buddy. Roger, fake news.
Oh, thanks, Doug.
Is what it is. Partly
It's
sunny,
partly
partly
sunny.
cloudy.
Yeah.
Hey, that's another good point. Can I bring something up with that, Roger? I appreciate you reminding me with that. Just that simple saying. Partly cloudy or partly sunny? Up to you. Is it partly cloudy or is it partly sunny?
Is that like glasses half full, half
Yes,
empty?
half empty, half full. So, for example...
Oh, that's really good.
It is. I like that.
As far as media goes, that's a good point.
Yes. So, if something happens, let me just use this for an example. And I have a specific scenario and a specific person I'm talking about, but I don't want. It's not important. It's the point. It's the point of the matter. Let's say that there's a shooting, all right, and let's say that there's a person who is working with the police department that has jurisdiction, but wasn't on the scene. The negative media coming from this specific shooting impacted her on that department for close to 6 years because they kept trying to find her and find her side of the
Isn't
story
that sad?
and get her details and her end of it. And she wasn't even on the scene. I mean, just the negative impact of that specifically is horrible. It's terrible.
It really is.
Do I blame the media for wanting to get a side of the story? I don't blame them at all. But their approach and their persistence and the way they did it, no.
Well, what's their motive?
Their motive is to get details about the story, to continue the story, and make whoever look bad that they want to look bad.
Doesn't it sound like they don't want the story to be over? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well,
like
if
it's
not
just
over, they continue to get ratings.
if there's exactly so it's like if there's no underlying motive, then wonderful. But so many times there is, and that's what stinks, and that's what we have to keep in mind as consumers, right? Oh, good night, Wayne. Thanks for tuning in.
So we've already gone way long. It's
yeah, I have to get Lonnie in the shower. It's super late. Yeah.
Yeah, she talks too much.
Hopefully, she's probably asleep. That means an early morning shower.
Anyway.
TMI. Like, now you guys know my whole schedule. So there you go. If she's asleep, we got to get up earlier.
Anyway.
She'll be clean.
Help us out with the topic next week. We're still discussing what we want to talk about, but if we hear from you, we'll share research and we'll chat about it. We
truly do get our topics from daily conversation. Like, what's relevant to people right now.
Yep.
Yeah. But we don't do politics. No. We don't do social issues and that kind of thing, really. So,
I'd be willing to tackle a controversial issue.
What?
I don't know. Somebody wanted to bring one up. We can talk about our views on it. And
yeah. Maybe.
Be careful.
Maybe. I like to stay positive.
Well, we can be positive. Marriage.
Okay, I like that topic.
Let's just say this tip. I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. How does that make you feel?
Well, actually, that was a good little tidbit of a look into a marital issue.
Sexton gives away $600. Story 11.
I had forgot, and now I'm back on it. Story 11.
Jen Spalding. It's
not even true because it was $5.50.
The only story until the next one comes along, never in the media.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Good point, Jen.
Yep. Marriage.
That's exactly what it's about. Yeah, I like that topic. We can talk marriage. You've got plenty.
Oh my gosh. She just said that.
I didn't.
So
I don't know what you're talking about.
By herself next week because she knows all about it.
Oops.
Whatever. It's all good.
All right.
Again, guys, thanks for tuning in.
I think that was all I had.
Do you have more notes?
No, I think that's all I had.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Media.
Yep. We talked about everything.
Family, marriage, and children.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah. Okay.
We can talk about that and see what we can...
You coming down to help us out?
Ooh. Tiffany. Guest speaker.
Come on. We'll have coffee. Just saying. Anyway.
Yeah, we should get a guest from time to time. That'd be cool.
Next Wednesday, our guest speaker will be Brooke Sexton.
Ooh.
I'm
so honored to be a part of this. Oh, wait. This one's mine. You had your own. Hey, Diane. Diane's my new friend.
Hi, Diane, the new friend. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching this after the fact and you have questions, inbox us. Always wear your seatbelt. See, I'll throw that in there.
Yes.
What's holding you back? What are you doing to contribute to a
What's
safer
holding
Ohio?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, guys, be safe. God bless. Yell at us if you want to.
We'll be back next Wednesday at 8:30.
Unless I'm busy.
Just go ahead and put it in your phone.
No.
Just set a reminder.
$550.
Oh my gosh. If you don't know what he's talking about, just watch the beginning of this video. It's devastating. Alright guys, have a good night. He left, so I guess we're done. And see you next Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.